Jennifer, tell me a little bit about, you know, I know you came from the city council and very involved in your city. Tell me a little bit about, kind of just starting off here. How did it feel last night, realizing that this was an election that, you would come away with, and that after all your hard work had paid off, and then, on top of that, that you'd be the first female mayor of Homewood. I know that certainly probably means a lot to you. Tell me a little bit about kind of all of those feelings coming together.
Yeah, it was a great night. We gathered right there in the heart of downtown Homewood, right in front of one of my favorite businesses, the Track Shack, and had food from next door, and just really, it was a fantastic night. Friends and family, husband, mom. It has been a long 9 years that I have treasured, and I have worked really hard for the ward that I've been representing. And it was a natural sort of step up for me because we are transitioning to a council manager form of government. And I was a big part of bringing that referendum to the city and it successfully passing, and then interviewing and hiring our city manager. So this new role as mayor and this new form of government is actually going to be different from what it's been in the past. This is going to be the council president. This is going to be the person that sets the agenda and runs the meeting. So it's a little bit different. And I really was the perfect person for that job with 9 years of experience. It was a natural fit for me. And last night was amazing. It was really, really amazing. So, and to be the first female, my first term, which was 9 years ago, it was myself and one other woman, Barry Smith, with 9 other guys and a mayor, a dude, so it was like we were the only 2 women. And then the next term, this past term, 2 other women joined us, Melanie Gear and Jalit Nelms. And so we had a little bit more representation, but now I'm really excited to be the first female mayor. It was amazing.
Yeah, and as a council member, you've been very outspoken when it comes to certain issues and topics. Just going to a handful of meetings. I did a lot on the Sanford Creek side.
Yes.
You were always speaking your mind up there and advocating for what you had believed was best for the city. And then coming into the Jabari Peoples incident earlier this year, you're someone that's always, and from my point of view, I've only been here for 2 years, but from my small window of coverage in Homewood, seems like you're someone that's kind of an advocate and a fighter on the council. So could you talk a little bit to that and how that particular characteristic is going to be of value to the residents of Homewood moving forward, to have kind of a fighter in office?
Absolutely. So the one thing that I've learned in 9 years, and I've certainly made mistakes, there's no question about it, but if you go with your constituents and what your constituents are telling you and listen to them, you can't go wrong. I mean, you just can't. And so I do feel like I've had some unique experiences. I've been on the Planning Commission. I've been the chair of the Planning and Development Committee for the last 5 years, and I've been on the committee for the last 9 years. So that's development. That's stuff that's coming to the city, really things that impact our constituents' daily lives. And so I get a lot of feedback. I communicate very regularly with the ward that I've represented, and I'm going to bring that to the city. And so you have a direct line of communication with the people that you're representing, and so you hear directly from them. And so that I've always felt compelled to share that from the council dais. I've always felt like, hey, this is what I'm hearing. This is what people are saying to me. And so, there have been times that I've voted. I have advocated for something and ended up not voting for it because I've heard from enough constituents and to have enough conversations to realize this is where my constituents, this is where they are, and I need to be with them. I'm their representative. And so that's how I'm going to be as mayor. I want the citizens of Homewood to know, first of all, I'm beyond appreciative and grateful for this opportunity, but I want them to know that I'm going to communicate with them. I'm going to work with them. I'm going to collaborate with them, that this is going to be a collaborative government, that we are going to listen, we are going to inform on what's going on at City Hall, because I want them involved. They love our city. We love our city. We need to work together. Homewood is an amazing place with incredible people, and if there's anything I've learned the last 9 years, it's certainly that.
Yeah, and kind of going back to what I just mentioned, or expanding upon Sanford Creek side, that's something that you were there for all those meetings, certainly more than I was, but that's something a lot of people were very upset about, and kind of the general consensus from Homewood residents was just almost as if they were fed up, saying that Sanford gets whatever they want, even if it's not in the best interest for the city. You being outspoken against that in various situations, not to mention when you met me at City Hall for my story.
Yeah.
What would you have to say about kind of moving forward? I know this particular project didn't end up coming to be, but for the Homewood residents that are fearing that the city's just willing to kind of give handouts to Sanford to appease them, now that you are going to be in the mayor's office, is that what's kind of the outlook for that, or the I don't want to say like the MO moving forward,
Sure.
but what's kind of that what people that have that mindset and have voiced those concerns at those city council meetings, and obviously on Facebook, that's a whole mess in
That's
itself.
a whole thing.
But
Exactly.
what would you say to the people with those concerns?
Well, I want to start from the place that Sanford is a very important part of Homewood. That we love our Sanford students. We have a lot of alumni, faculty, administrators who live in Homewood. That Sanford needs to be successful. We want Sanford to be successful, and they own the property across the street from them. So we need to work with them to put something together that everyone can live with and be happy and proud of. But I want to mention again the collaboration. There are processes that property owners can go through to have rezoning, to have development plans approved, and we went through the processes. And everybody that I heard from, and there were hundreds. I mean, we with the council, we heard from many people, and everybody understood the need for Sanford, that they're growing, that their student population is growing, that they're trying to bring more students to live on campus, which we love, because those students shop in our shops and eat in our restaurants, and we love that. And so everybody came from that place that they understood. I just think the scope of that project was too big, and then maybe it was too far along in that when the public gave feedback, there weren't any adjustments that could be made. And so I think if we start from a place that we understand, we support Sanford, we want Sanford to succeed, we understand that's their property, how can we get somewhere that benefits both the Homewood community and Sanford at the same time? And I think there's an answer there, and I'm willing to put the work in. Again, really proud to have Sanford as Homewood's university. Who else can say they've got 6,100 students who live in their their city? I mean, it's great. So I'm really looking forward to figuring a way forward for both Homewood and Sanford.
Yeah, and then again, another topic, excuse me, that I had mentioned earlier was Jabari Peoples. With that, I know that you had announced that you were advocating for transparency, and
absolutely.
that the previous or current mayor also was.
Yes.
So, kind of going forward here, what do you think? I know that your first day hasn't started yet,
Right.
But kind of going forward here, do you think there's going to be any changes within Homewood as far as transparency, or even outside of that, is there anything you're looking at as far as, or considering as far as the police department in general? Just if you could talk a little bit to that, and kind of what's on your mind now that you are stepping into this role.
Well, I will tell you that per state law, we are unable to release that body cam footage. I know that Representative Kelvin Datcher has talked about putting a law together to the legislature next year, and I would love to work with him to advocate for that, for transparency, to allow that for the family to have seen the footage. So I have not spoken directly with him. I have just heard that is something that he is working on. I heard him mention that in the media. Representative Datcher is an important representative for Homewood, and I would love to work with him on advocating for that. If that means going to Montgomery to speak on behalf of what our situation was, I really do appreciate his efforts on that, and would be very willing to work with him on that.
Yeah, and do you think that is, because I said transparency, that's kind of a buzzword for every single election. But in the grand scheme of things, you said that Homewood's operating, or has operated, as outlined by the law and policy. It seems like that has been the case. Not that there necessarily is a need for more transparency within the police department or city hall, but just because that is such a buzzword, is that something that has been a target for you, is making information more available? I will say Homewood's very good about it because the city council meetings are streamed.
Yeah, absolutely.
The information's out there. There's write-ups after the council meetings. If you want to be informed in Homewood, not to take the words out of your mouth, but you can. But is there anything that you were considering as far as whether it be the police department or within the city government as far as increasing kind of transparency? I know, not to just keep going back to Creekside, but a lot of people felt like when that originally came out, that was dropped on them and that it was supposed to be hidden. But if I believe correctly, it was announced in a few different places. But is that something that you guys are, or that you are specifically kind of targeting or thinking about moving into the office there?
Communication is hugely important to me, and it has been a really big hallmark of my service representing what was Ward 5, which is now Ward 4. I've had a newsletter, an email newsletter, that I send out directly to 650 people, and it's directly to them with what's going on, what dates are coming up, et cetera. And I want to do that citywide. I mentioned that at a forum recently, and then had the realization that not everybody is online, and so now we need to look at other ways to make sure everyone is included. And I really, really do think that is important. The conversations that we typically have from the city council or the mayor is when someone asks us a question and we answer it, they say, "Oh, well, that makes sense." So if we could get that information out first, so there aren't any, sort of anything misconstrued or anything that is, inaccurate or whatever. If we can just kind of hit that on the right out of the gate, so that is going to be a big effort of mine. We have a city manager now, and so he has an executive assistant, and so we have new staff that we can work together on this, and that is going to be something that I have worked really hard on in my ward that I really want to do citywide. Because again, I think that we have some amazing people that work at the city and that serve the city, and we have amazing citizens that I want to make sure everybody knows all the great things that are going on in Homewood.
Yeah, and what's the future of Homewood going to look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, first of all, next year is our 100th anniversary, so celebration is amazing. I can't believe it, and I'm just honored to be the mayor when that happens. But I think everyone that we heard from on the campaign trail really talked about smart development. People aren't necessarily against development in general, but just that it is smart, that it fits the character and the charm of our city. We are financially stable and secure, and so we really are in a great situation that we don't have to make decisions based on financial considerations. We really can just weigh our quality of life with whatever financial impact that's going to be. We have a really big project that's going to be really impactful for us, and that is the Diverging Diamond. We just approved that on Monday. That has been in the works from before my time on the council, so to everyone that has served up to this point, we've all been involved in this project, and it has been approved finally. We are moving forward, and what that means is on the Lakeshore interchange, there's going to be easy access in and out of the Walmart, and that Walmart and that Sam's are a huge part of our economy, and then that whole Wildwood development is really picking up, turning around. It's really in healthy shape, so that's going to impact us directly. We've got the future of Brookwood Mall. What is going to happen there? We've got Andrew Sports Medicine coming, and then now that the election's behind us, I think we'll start to hear again from the property owners is what they want to do. Some of that property's in Mountain Brook. A good friend of mine is the new mayor-elect in Mountain Brook, Graham Smith, and so I have a great relationship with Mountain Brook, unincorporated Jefferson County. So that's going to be impactful. We've got some infrastructure challenges that we need to look at our school system, and I've got a great relationship with our superintendent and our Board of Education, so look forward to working with them on that. Yeah, that's a lot right there.
Yeah, that was good. I was going to ask you, you talking about smart development made me think about something that you had said whenever we were talking about Creekside, which was, and I forget the name of it, I'm sorry, but the abandoned mall property.
That's Brookwood?
Brookwood,
yeah, that's Brookwood.
Where they put the sports, or
yes, that's Brookwood. And Andrew Sports Medicine, yeah, that's it.
That's what it is. Could you talk a little more kind of specifically about that? Because I know there's a lot of, you just kind of, that was kind of like a throwaway comment in our conversation.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really interesting because that's what a lot of the actual residents are saying too. Because you have this giant property right here. It's very accessible.
Yes.
It's meant for development, and it just seems like, I know Andrews was a big deal because that was sort of the first step in hopefully revitalizing that area. But is that a kind of a priority or target for the city moving forward as far
Absolutely.
as bringing, and could you tell me a little more about it?
Sure. So that's actually my neighborhood. That's where I live.
Oh,
And so
really?
I'm on that property every day. I shop there. I, buy coffee there. I run on the trail there. And
Yeah,
so really, we had a question at the forum that was asked, and it was like, is this finally going to be the time when we finally have something happen at Brookwood? And so I really do hope so. The property owners have not come forward with the rest of their vision for what that property is. So we have not heard directly from them at the city, but they will have to work with both Mountain Brook and Homewood if they want to develop the property holistically. And the Homewood City Council and the Mountain Brook City Council, we have both passed resolutions saying that we're going to work together, that we are going to be impacted equally by this property in the positive and the revenue stream, and then we're also going to have our expenses impacted directly at the same. So it's going to be impactful for both communities at the same. We're not going to put, in other words, 1,500 apartments in one city and then all the retail in another. It's going to be we share the property, and so that will go through a process. We'll have to probably set up some form of a planned development zoning classification that'll go through. So there'll be a lot of input from the public because we'll have public hearings. I encourage the developer to include the public when they, the developers are most successful when they engage the public up at the front end, when they listen to what the public has to give us feedback, because we're the ones who live there, and then incorporate, some of what they've heard from the public to kind of get to a place where everyone is happy with the development. So I really would encourage. There are a lot of people that are pulling for that property to be successful. I mean, it is an important piece of property for not just Homewood, not just Mountain Brook, but Jefferson County. I mean, it is a keystone piece of property, and so we really want to see it succeed.
Yeah, and just to clarify a few things, this isn't an official question.
Sure.
But with the, it's in Homewood, but its proximity to Mountain Brook is why you guys.
Part of it's in Mountain
Part of
Brook.
it's in Mountain Brook?
Yeah,
I did
it's
not know
very
that.
complicated. In fact, I was just talking with somebody, I can't remember, maybe in the lobby, about how crazy some of the, when I was talking to the new mayor in Hoover, I was like, we touch, we've got Bluff Park and the property line goes in and out, and it's the same way at Brookwood. I mean, there's, if you were standing in the old mall, which you said you've only been there 2 years, so you may not have ever been in that old mall, but if you were standing in the old mall and you were standing at Macy's looking out into the mall, if you drew a line to Hibbett's, that's actually all Mountain Brook.
Wow.
It's crazy. It is really wild. So yeah, and then the used to be a restaurant, and then it was a church. That's in unincorporated Jefferson County. So that little round building that's off to where the parking lot is. So it's really wild over there. The property lines are crazy.
Yeah, no, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about everything I plan on asking. I guess just to top it off, what I already asked you what's next for the city, but I guess what's to kind of rephrase that a little bit, what's next for you? What's on your agenda, your plate moving forward? Topics, properties, departments, what specifically are you looking at? Again, Homewood isn't necessarily what I would call a problem city as compared to you have a lot of local governments in our area that we'll look at. They'll have their issues. Yeah. But what are some just things that are on your list to look at or change or expand upon, increase, decrease maybe coming into office?
So the very first thing that I want to do is get with the new council and sign up our city manager for a 4-year term. So we brought in, again, if you remember last September we had the referendum. We approved changing our government to a council manager form of government. I was on the committee that searched for and hired Glenn Adams. And so we brought him on board the first week of March. And the idea was to get him, we knew there was going to be so much turnover on the council that we were losing a lot of institutional knowledge. And so the idea was to get him up and running. 6 months is not a lot of time, or 8 months I think is what it was. It's not a lot of time, but he has dove in. I mean, we hired him on a Monday night and he started work on Wednesday morning. So that week, and so he has been going through the budget process right now. This is his budget that he's put together. And so the first thing that I will do is get with the council and get him approved for the next 4 years, because he has earned that right to serve our city, and he's been a great success. We have a couple of projects that I've actually been working on for years that are going out to bid. bid in this fall. And so they're both connectivity issues. One is a trail that is going to be connecting Central Park to Spring Park and Rosedale. So we're really excited about that. We go out to bid this fall. And then the other one is a grant, a $2 million grant that I went after with our city engineer from AlDOT, and that is going to be improving sort of the passageway through Homewood on Highway 31. So there's going to be improved pedestrian access, closing off some of those kind of, where there's a lot of ingresses and egresses kind of coming in and out of these side streets, kind of, control that. So, it's a safety issue there. So we've got that going out to bid this fall. We just approved our new Piggly Wiggly, and so we're really excited about that. It is beautiful, and that is, again, just a really keystone piece of property in Homewood. It's right there on 31 in Oxmoor, so it's really going to be beautiful when you come in the city. So we're really excited to see that happen. We've got the diverging diamond that's going to be starting. That, like I said, that has been on the table for over 10 years. I've been there 9 years. It's been over 10 years. So we're really excited to see that move forward. So those are going to be the kind of the first, day one kind of issues that you're going to see.
Yeah, I got you. Well, like I said, that was kind of my wrap-up question. Is there anything else you want to say or add you feel like we didn't get to talk about yet?
No, I just want to say thank you so much to the citizens of Homewood. I mean, it was just such a great experience being out on the campaign trail. It's been an incredible 9 years, and I just can't believe I'm lucky enough to have this opportunity and serve this amazing city.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, question.
Yeah.
What would you tell your 10-year-old self who doesn't know what the future holds?
Oh, man.
What would you say to you
Gosh.
with all your big dreams and big thoughts?
Oh, man. Gosh, let me think it through. One thing that I learned from my parents is commitment. And when you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah.
And when you do it to the best of your ability. And so I would say that is your life mantra. And you see where it takes you. Who knew? I mean, we moved, my husband and I moved to Homewood. He lived here before I did, before we got married. But we moved here 23 years ago. And, we had some health issues with me and our sons, which everybody's very healthy and fine. But I had to step aside from my sales career and stay at home with the kids. And, I am not I don't sit still. And so once the kids were in school, I got involved in the school system. I ended up being the PTO president, and I got involved in the service guild, and I ended up being a executive committee member of that. And then I became a long distance runner, and I became the president of the Birmingham Track Club. So that is just kind of like you do it, and you do it to the best of your ability, and then you see where it takes you. And what I've learned is I love serving. I love serving the city specifically, and I love serving this region. I love working in the Jefferson County region. I love this area. We've got so much going on. That's a really positive thing. So I want to see it continue.